Peace, family. Grace and peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Bye at hotel. Namaste. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Y'all know what time it is. My name is Vicki Dillard, and you're tuned into my personal channel here at VickiDillard.tv. And I'm so pleased that you're with us today. I know y'all know that this is a very cosmic week, right? And of course, we're talking about we have a full lunar eclipse starting today and into tomorrow. But baby, we have another kind of eclipse. We got some other galaxy solar action going on. Y'all see who on the screen. I'm gonna give her a proper introduction here in just a moment. But I have a little bit of ritual as you come in. Be sure to come in giving us a big thumbs up, thumbs up. Be sure to like and be sure to share the broadcast, family. Yes, yes, yes. In a little bit right after this at 2 p.m. Eastern, I will be on African Diaspora News Channel. I'm live there Tuesday through Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So yes, I'm gonna switch over there. But baby, I'm had to snatch up of my channel first, and then we're gonna do follow-ups over there. Okay, I promise you all. Thank you all so much for joining us today, family. If you don't know who is on the screen, I don't know what rock you have been under. I am so pleased and so highly privileged to have with me today Chicago's very own, a lady that's shaping her city and state, and quite frankly, this country, because it's setting an extraordinary precedent, and she has gone viral on multiple platforms because of her work on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, would you put your black hands together? Put some black hands in the chat for me, for the lovely Miss Jessica Jackson. Welcome so much, my dear sister. Thank you for joining me here today. How in the world are you?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, Vicki Dillard. It's a privilege, an absolute privilege to be here. And I'm doing fantastic. I'm looking forward to this conversation. I already know it's going to be completely informative, completely hot, completely knowledgeable. Let's go. I'm thankful to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now, I want to say this. I would like for you, just really briefly, because I know we're getting ready to discuss. You were there in person, Washington, D.C. recently for an immigration hearing that had to do with you all's mayor, Brandon Johnson. Of course, we know there's been a whole lot of shenanigans going on. I've been doing nonstop coverage of Chicago for the past few years, different elements of Chicago, in fact. But certainly I had been covering him as well as my colleagues. Yes. So I want you, first of all, to let us know just very briefly, give us a little introduction to who you are and how in the world, what made you get involved with such activist work on the ground, political work on the ground?
Well, I was born and raised in Chicago on the South Side. And after, I graduated from college, I went and lived in California for a number of years, for 35 years, in fact. My mom passed in 2016. And when she passed, she left this 3-flat building in Chicago, the building, in fact, that I was born in. Wow. The building that, in fact, we were the first Black family to live on this block in 1962. Only for my mother to pass on. And I'm glad you asked that question. Glad you asked it. Because my mother passed in 2016. I want your audience to understand that my mother had a full-fledged, authentic, 100% will. Wow. My mother didn't owe anybody a dime, not a credit card, not a hospital bill. She wasn't in a state facility, so she didn't owe the state anything. My mother died debt free. This building that's been in our family my whole entire life has been paid for since I was a teenager. Wow. Only for my mother to pass on. And Cook County, in the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, has a law that says even when a person passes, if they had real estate in their estate, they still have to go through probate. And that is how, and that's how Cook County / the city of Chicago gets their grubby little hands on your property. You understand that? And when that started happening with my mother's estate, that's what made me come here in 2019. And that's what made me go to City Hall to start saying, wait a minute, what y'all doing? And I started realizing that it wasn't just illegal immigration that they were using to push us out of our communities. It was also, from what I was learning, the probate process, illegal foreclosures, illegal reverse mortgages, illegal tax evictions, all these things that have been in place for years to steal Black people's real estate. And when I saw that happening through this probate process, I went down there to fight for my mother's stuff. And in that started the whole conversation about illegal immigration and all that, until ultimately I ended up in that hearing on Capitol Hill. Because what ended up happening in this, Vicki, is I'm in Chicago, which is the Democratic machine, as they call it.
Come on.
And here I am asking for help from the Democratic Party. Everybody is a Democrat. All the aldermen, the governor, the mayor, the head of Cook County, President Tony Preckwinkle, the chief judge for the courts, everybody's Black. We have 20 aldermen that are Black out of the 50 aldermen that are here. And nobody would help me. Nobody would make the day was straight cheating in court. All the judges are Democrat, and all of them are white Democrat judges, white public administrators. All of them are Democrats, every last one of them. And none of them would help me, none. So then this is when you started hearing me and another lady named Zer0 from City Hall saying, we're going to flip this red. We need help. From the federal level. We need to change, because at that time, if you recall, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris was the president and vice president. So that was nowhere to go with that.
Exactly.
We needed a change at the federal level.
Come on now. Come on.
And this is what made us start saying, Trump, get in here. Help us.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And that's what you see. Ultimately, it went to until the Republican Party even wanted me to be in that hearing on Capitol Hill so that I could deal with this issue of illegal immigration and get to see straight up in that room.
Come on.
How both parties work. And we'll get into that as we continue. But that's how I ended up down in City Hall. That's how I ended up fighting for this, because I'm fighting for my mother's property. That's number one. You're not going to take nothing from me. My mother and father and grandparents worked.
Yes.
Didn't nobody give them anything. They worked.
Come on.
And did all the right things. All the right things. Only for them to pass on. And you gonna try to steal? No, you not. I will fight you to the death of me. You're not gonna take nothing from me. Nothing. Nothing. And you hear it all over the country, where they've been stealing Black people's property. And for Black people that had an attitude of, well, you know, that's what they do. That's what they do. Well, when did they make them stop?
Woo. This is powerful. This is powerful. Your story is absolutely powerful. It's organic. Somebody put some gavels in the chat. Somebody put some fire emojis in the chat. People are on here talking about wow. People are on here with smiley emojis. People are on here talking about phenomenal work. My dear sister, they know what it is. And I feel the power on me, which is why I resonated with you so much when I came across your name and your videos. And I had the privilege, and I want the audience to know that I had the privilege of meeting her family very, very briefly in person last year.
Yeah.
It was a Black establishment called a restaurant called How to Eat to Live. It's a Black establishment, and my beautiful sister was there along with some of my other activists that are on the ground. Now, what I want you all to know is that sometimes while you're working and doing your thing, do you all know that you've got warriors out there fighting and speaking on your behalf, like this sister right here? Do you all understand that while you're working and raising your babies and working out and dealing with your circumstances and situations, that you've got quiet angels that's doing the work and pressing the powers that shouldn't be to do what is right on your behalf? That is why to interview you. That is why I wanted to meet you last year. And that is the reason why we're planning some other stuff that we're not going to tell y'all right now. But we're fixing to get into this. Now, you attended this hearing recently in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
I'm so honored that you did that. Our dear sister, when you attended that hearing, it was an immigration hearing. It was about Chicago's mayor, among others. It was also one of the mayors here in Denver, because there are different cities here in the Metroplex. But Denver, I do a lot of business in Denver, so it's not too far, 30, 45 minutes from me, but I'm always in Denver all the time. So the Denver mayor, the mayor was there as well. There was was it New York's mayor and some of the other ones that was there, immigration
hearing. The other one was the Boston mayor.
The Boston mayor, that's the Asian lady, right? I forget.
Yeah. Wu. W-U.
That's right. Yes. So they were there. And so Mayor Brandon Johnson, among others, I've certainly been covering him quite a bit because, as you just mentioned, Chicago is a Democratic stronghold. It's a political headquarters. The Barack Obamas are there, the Jesse Jacksons are there. In the spiritual and religious and social sense, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam, it's a major power center among many, 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 many other moving parts there from Chicago. So you're there, you touched down there, and I'm going to say I got chills because when I did my a few of my broadcasts on African Diaspora News Channel, I specifically said, look, I want some of my people on the ground there to attend that hearing so I can get testimony straight from the street. Then I found out my sister was there. I said, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I know it was a long hearing. There's so much we can discuss. We're going to be doing some follow-ups. Like I said, we're going to actually chop this up and put it on African Diaspora and do a broadcast on it. But we're going to because there's so much going on. Please tell us some of the main takeaways that you got from that hearing. Now, I want to say this because y'all's mayor, Brandon Johnson, he has been so obstructionist. He tried to stop you all. I covered this too a long time ago about the fact that he tried to change the policy, the rules for attending the political meetings there. He tried to say state IDs, didn't want y'all on the same floor as some of the folks. And then he found out, fool, you might be violating the law. So you're going to have to see in that foolishness. That's how much work y'all been given. Talk to us about what you learned, what you gleaned, some of the top things that you can take away from, that you took away from the hearing. Now, I did do a broadcast recently on African Diaspora about the fact that one of the Congress people said that she referring him for criminal referral of justice. But take it from there, sis. Tell us what you gleaned from it.
That was Congresswoman Luna that you're referring to. Okay, that will do the DOJ. Yeah, that's hot. And I hope she follows through with that. She needs to follow through with that. I'm gonna keep my foot on her neck about following through with that because it was
officially filed. It was
officially filed. And please don't drop the ball on it. Stay on it. Now, to your point, the main takeaways I took away, number one, which is very important, is that the Democratic Party, well, let's backtrack to this, please.
Yes.
Being there in that room, in that hearing, especially for people that are from all blue cities like Chicago, Democratic stronghold cities like that, it gave an opportunity to see both sides of government. Because here you only see the Democratic Party. Well, when being in that room on Capitol Hill, you had an opportunity to see the Democrats at work and the Republican Party at work, which is a healthy political perspective. It's unhealthy to only see things one way. You can't make a fair judgment if you only see things one way. So I want to even encourage your audience to sometime when you on YouTube and you see those hearings that are being aired on TV, sometime tune into those things so that you can see how government works. Okay, so that was the first thing. The second thing, and an important thing, is that the Democratic Party, their position with this, because it was the oversight committee that called them in to question them about the issue of sanctuary cities. The fact that these sanctuary city mayors, like the 4 that we named, are refusing to cooperate with ICE for ICE to come in and get illegals out of the country. Now, you keep in mind that Donald Trump ran on mass deportation. Keep in mind that 70-some million people voted for Donald Trump, knowing what his agenda was, mass deportation. You look at how red that electoral college was vote. They said that that's the reddest that the electoral college map had been since the days of Ronald Reagan. So you're talking about the country. The country wanted mass deportation because this is what the people voted for. Okay, only for him to get in office and the Democratic Party stopping him every which way they can from implementing what your own constituents and citizens say they want. You talking about voter suppression. You talking about a refusal for a peaceful transition of power. Are you kidding me? No, they're not climbing the Capitol, but they are for real, stopping the current government, the federal government, from implementing what it is the people went to the poll and said that they wanted. Come on, that's what we're seeing. And the way that they're doing it, and the way that it played out on Capitol Hill that day, this is the trick. They are intentionally intertwining the issue of illegal immigration with immigration.
Say that
with
again.
Legal immigration.
Say it again.
That's what they're doing. They are intentionally intertwining the issue of illegal immigration with the issue of immigration.
Come on.
When they know it's not the same thing.
Come on.
Vicki, to hear those Black Democrats, because you got to know, and we all know that the Democratic Party is more diverse. It's more diverse. The Republican Party, all white.
Yes.
Those Black Democrats, very Black Democrats on Capitol Hill are sitting there just going on and on and on about immigrants when they know doggone well it's not the same. And this is the argument that they're saying, and you're going to appreciate this position.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And this country was built on immigrants. If immigrants weren't here, what would we do? Everything would fall apart. Everybody here is an immigrant. To promote this immigration thing when you know doggone well that's a lie. You know that there is a group of people here in America who are not immigrants at all, and that would be us.
Come on,
we were never immigrants in this country. We got here by way of, whether you believe that we FBA foundational and we're here already, I believe that there is some truth to that argument based on the fact that we are the original people. So it is very possible that Africans migrated to all over the existing lands at that time. I'll give you that, but it's undeniable that a lot of us came by way of that slave trade. And we got here by way of slavery, which was what? A legal institution in America. So every time we stepped foot off that slave ship, we were already legal. We were never immigrants. So for the Democrat Party to sit up here and stir this thing about how if the country didn't have immigrants, it will fall apart. When the non-immigrant Black people, the ones who started this.
Come on now. Come on.
How is it going to fall apart? Because you don't agree to let a bunch of illegal people who you don't have no trace of who they are, where they from, who they are. It was sickening to see the Democratic Party sit there and want to sit here and just demand rights for people who have broken into this country.
My God.
Demand rights for people who haven't did a dime, and it's just so sickening because you've never, even on Capitol Hill Democratic Party or locally here in Chicago, I've never seen a Black Democrat stand up and fight for Black America. I've never seen it.
Never.
They didn't on Capitol Hill last week, and I'm in these meetings here 2-3 times per week.
Come on.
And I have never seen a Black alderman, a white alderman, a Hispanic alderman, the couple of Asian aldermen in there. No one has ever stood up and said, give Black people their money. They've never said do economic development in Black neighborhoods. They have never said it. I don't care how Brandon Johnson sit up there and lie and say about how he's put $200 and $300 million on the south side and west side of Chicago. He's a liar, and the truth is not in him. I live in South Shore, which is the heart of the south side of Chicago, and the only thing he can put over here is a bunch of illegal immigrants.
Come on, let me hit the gavel on that one. Somebody,
because it's the truth.
Because it's the truth. Family, we holding court today. If you just tuning in, I know y'all like whatever this is, it's a fire. Somebody, look, Denise says, this sister is speaking the truth and lightning bonfire. She got some fire emojis. And then she says she got her mini gavel and I'm hitting the table with it. You gotta
That's what we do. Come up here following the Democratic Party like this, letting them lead us around by the nose like this when they don't mean no good for us. Every person in Chicago, every Black person in Chicago, you want to keep on standing behind this Brandon Johnson? You want to keep on standing behind this Democratic Party? I want you to go outside your door. I want you to just go inside. I ain't telling you to go far. Just outside your door. Look to the left, look to the right. Look at all those vacant lots. Look at all them abandoned buildings. Look at that failed school that's in your neighborhood. And then you tell me what Republican did it. And I'm not sitting here caping for the Republicans. All I'm saying is what I'm saying. Who did it? The Democratic Party did it. They did it then. They're doing it now. They did it on Capitol Hill last week. They were going for illegal immigration, not your Black self, not at all.
Let me tell y'all something. This woman is breaking it down for you like nobody's business. And she is a direct witness and a daughter of the soil that this is what makes this so explosive. Family, hit that thumbs up button and share the broadcast. Let everybody know that Vicki is on her personal channel today at VickiDillard.tv. I promise you, I'm going to do this on African Diaspora too. We're going to chop up the video and do a couple of follow-up broadcasts, so don't worry about that. But I wanted to, look, I'm greedy. I had to get a... Look, I wanted to claim the interview. Okay, is that all right, Sister Jessica?
Hey, go on with it. Y'all gotta say, I've been watching you. Yeah, I've been watching you. You the one who got me into Black media. I'm telling you, you, Tariq Nasheed, like I told you, that Dr. Shauna, a couple of years ago, I'm like, wait a minute. Who are these people? And y'all was bringing it. No, I feel blessed to have this conversation with you. Let's get the information out and let's help Black people. Because we're in a bad state in America right now.
Wow.
And we know better. We know better.
This is powerful. You know, what you said just a minute ago when you said, I'm not giving the Republican Party a pass, but let's tell the truth about who did it. My dear sister, Black media, I've heard them use the phrase B1. I use it as well. Some of the others in Black media, these spaces. And one of the things that I say often is we are B1, not D1. And why do I say that? B1 meaning Black first and not D1, Democrat first. I say that because, see, when you start to associate yourself first with religious labels, political labels, socioeconomic labels over being Black first, you will make an excuse for a racist Joe Biden, but then you can point out the racism of a Donald Trump. You'll high five your favorite racists. You'll let them get away with stuff that you know you would never, ever allow the other side to get away with. You will justify the Democrats not giving you reparations even when Obama first got in office. Remember, they had the White House, they had the Senate, and they had the House of Representatives. Did they use that little window of time to push through reparations? No, they used it for other stuff. The same with the Democrats, the previous Democrat administration, right? For that little short window of time, what happened? They had the presidency, they had the Senate, and they had the House of Representatives. So when folks say, well, what Republican you gonna get that's gonna help you with reparations? We didn't need no Republicans when you all under two different administrations had it for that window of time. All we needed was the Democrats. We don't need no civics lesson, Roland Martin, as they try to tell us how civics works. No, we know how it works. You all chose not to do it. And even if they did, my dear sister, what are they doing now, even though that they don't have those levels of power? I want you to talk on this, and we're going to get back on to the second and third takeaways that you took away from it. Yeah. I'm covering the fact that not only, as you just mentioned before, Brandon Johnson is lying about hundreds of millions of dollars spent for Black folks in Chicago when we know all this other money he's been spending. I did broadcasts on African Diaspora showing where one of the agencies there was looking into certain gifts that were being taken that weren't disclosed. weird little stuff he got going on that they didn't tell. I just did a broadcast the other day highlighting the fact that he has a criminal referral now after that during that hearing. But also we found out that both he and the previous Democrat mayor, Lori Lightfoot, is said to have obstructed some of the hearings and information that's going on. If you want to get into that, you can. But I want us to understand all of this money, these resources are going to everybody but Black Chicago there, and all of the efforts they're doing to literally stop you. You just weaved a beautiful point a minute ago when you said that they love to talk about voter suppression. The Democrats say that about the Republicans, but here it is. Didn't they tell us that Republicans demanding IDs was racist for voting, but it was the Democrats that suggested y'all had to show IDs to come to the political meetings. They had to pull that back. Would you talk to us about that and then move on to your second point that you took away from the hearing?
I mean, you just said it best. This is levels and levels and levels of corruption by the Democratic Party. Brandon Johnson is completely responsible for what is happening with him under his rule. That is true. But it started before Brandon Johnson got in office. If you recall, Lori Lightfoot, the very first school that they tried to put the immigrants in was over in Wentworth, over in the Woodlawn area at this elementary school. And the community came out then against Lori Lightfoot and told her if she put those immigrants in that school, that they was going to vote her out of office. She went on and let them get in that school. And in fact, they got her out of office. Okay. Now, it's a brother here by the name of Mark Carter.
Okay.
And Mark Carter been doing a lot of work, on the ground too. Okay, and he started talking about this 2011 immigration plan that apparently had been in the mix for years in these Democratic cities, about how they were going to bring immigration into these Democratic cities. And he was talking about it when this conversation of immigration first started getting big. Now you see, this is what it was. This is a plan. Think about it. Think about it. Remember when COVID was in place? And remember when they kept saying, what's going to happen when Title 42 get lifted? What's going to happen when Title 42 lifted? Remember they kept saying that. Well, we saw what happened. What happened was Joe Biden and Kamala Harris opened up that border wide as they could and let everybody in here. Come on, that's what happened when Title 42 lifted, and did it under the false guise of what? Being asylum seekers, being refugee seekers, lying about all of it, just caravans of people over here.
Come on.
That's what that was behind. And then here in Chicago, they started lying, saying that this was by way of the sanctuary city ordinance that Washington had done from 1985, playing that card because, again, he was a beloved mayor here, because he was the first Black mayor here. So everybody here loved Harold Washington. So they hung it on him. When the reality is, Brandon Johnson did his own executive order. When he got in May 2023, he was sworn in April. May 2023, he did his own executive order called the Immigration, Migration, and Refugee Act, where he appointed these deputies for immigration. He appointed these immigration officers, start saying all about this money, start twisting the narrative about how a Haitian woman, man, fell in love with an Indian woman, and this is what made Chicago. All that came from that executive order that he put in place.
Wait a minute. Are y'all listening to what our sister said? She said the mayor himself, soon as he sworn in, he did his own office as mayor. Are y'all listening to this? Now, sister, I don't want you to lose your wisdom or your point. You and I, of course, we haven't talked about any of the details about this, except for the fact that I wanted you to have some main points that you want to discuss. Yeah, I'm not gonna put my 2 cents. I need to hear from you. Who do you think? Who else you think is behind him doing this when he knows that his own people and the people that put him in place are against this? They've been saying that they're going to kick him out. I know we've tried to recall his funny looking self, but they made it almost impossible to do that early and all that kind of stuff. Tell me, who else do you think is behind this? Because you know he's not doing this on his own. So who else do you think is behind this? One of the things I've said, because when he went to that hearing and found out he was under investigation, remember he was playing games about whether or not he was going to actually go or not. But in addition to the hearing, they're going to use, obviously, in addition to their Congress's investigation, they asked for a cache of communications, email, documentation, all that. And I told my audience on African Desk, I said, look, I bet you ain't no telling what else going to come out of them beyond immigration. Ain't no telling who we going to find out.
Yeah.
Whatever other little agendas going on. Do you want to come? You don't have to, but do you want to comment on whether or not you think or who you think or what else might be going on? Or we can wait for part 2 on that. But what are your thoughts about who else you think is behind this and who he's working with?
Ain't no who you think. It's a known fact. The teachers union is behind him.
Okay.
You better believe that.
Okay, because he's
union. Yeah, it's behind him. The white corporations are behind him. That's where all this high level low income housing conversation is going on with the Democratic Party, where they keep on, the only thing they talk about is low income housing, subsidized housing, affordable housing. Here they trying to build all these high rises.
Okay.
See, that's them white corporations getting money for housing. Come on. Looking like the only thing that matters is that people get housed. They get housed with low income. They staying away from private citizens owning stuff.
Got it.
They not rebuilding single family homes or these 2 and 3 flats that's in the city that's been abandoned since forever. They not taking that TIF money, that tax increment funding, where the government's supposed to give money to the local government for them to fix the blighted communities.
Okay.
So what they doing is these corporations here is building these big high rises, and what they'll do, Vicki Dillard, is they'll say it's low income and mixed income. See, watch that mixed income, because that mixed income is what they say up here. Let's say on the north side, we're gonna build some high rises up there, and then we're going to give 3-4 black people or Hispanics or whatever some vouchers where they can live in there. That makes it be mixed income, and now they qualify for this government funding. Now over here, you hear me? Now you come over here to the south side. Now you pitch that same solution. You say you want to bring some high rise over here, but the income, the only difference is this. Watch this, Vicki. The ones over here in the south side, they're gonna be full of vouchers.
Right.
Everybody in them gonna be low income. Now watch this. What does that mean?
Okay.
The people that's in all this low income, they don't own. Therefore, they don't pay property taxes.
Come on.
Property taxes are connected to the amount of local resources that go in your local schools. Come on. So if your local community is not paying property taxes, now that means a lot of resources not going into that local school. Now we're talking about low education.
Yes.
Low income, where you're not owning nothing. Now you're recycling poverty. You're pushing low income housing instead of pushing employment. If people had jobs, they could pay their rent.
Right.
If they had jobs, they could be motivated to have families and all this and that. If they had jobs, they could qualify for housing and buy property and have generational wealth and all this and that. But you're not doing that if everybody getting a Section 8 voucher.
Exactly.
You can't pass down no voucher.
That's right. And then you are making me think now, because I've done interviews with Brother Abdul Muhammad that had to do with his firing from the schools. And
yes.
There were corporate connections there. And I found out that the black fire folks, they're not even keeping with the quote of the number of fire folks. They're there because they said that if they got good jobs, they're going to be able to afford to stay in those neighborhoods.
Yes.
You are connecting some dots. Are y'all getting this?
Come on. Come on. Listen, let's go back to what Brother Muhammad said, Abdul Muhammad said about those firing. Remember when you interviewed him, I looked at the interview and he said that the issue with the schools and stuff was connected to gentrification.
Yes.
That all this is about pushing us out. Remember he said that?
He did.
Okay, now let's run it back. Remember when you met with us when we was here in Chicago?
Yes.
Remember we gave you what? That contract for Black Chicago. And in that we were talking about that contract for Black Chicago. Remember, we were saying that the template for that is that for every city that's a blue city, whatever the population is for Black people in that city, that employment should be represented in all the various aspects of the city, including the fire department hiring, the police department hirings, the law, the teachers, right? All that's connected. Wow. It's all connected. Wow. And if you can get, and I don't know how, maybe this is something for another topic, another day, but how is it that the Democratic Party has convinced us that we should not care about ourselves, that we should be concerned about these illegal immigrants, that's some type of beautiful thing to not even be interested in protecting our own selves?
Come on now. Come on.
We're not standing up for ourselves.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes.
You understand that, Vicki? The Democratic Party got us not standing up for ourselves. They got us by way of these Black churches and these preachers making us think somehow that it's from slavery. That don't want nothing now. Your pie's in the sky. Wow. And somehow this make you a super good person.
Come on.
If you don't want nothing now, then you come on.
Y'all, our sister, as you can see, is on fire. Family, make sure you share this broadcast. One of the things that my beautiful sister said to me before we got on, when she was saying when she first started listening to Black media, she said, she was talking about how inspirational I, along with some of the others, were, and that how we get more in depth about what's really going on. And my sister had the nerve to even bring up the fact of connecting my testimony, connecting my fights with the government, connecting my unfair federal criminal trial, connecting some of my activist work that I was doing on the ground. And then she turned around and connected to my health situation too, family. And she said that, Vicki, that's what sets you apart. Say a little bit about what you were saying, the importance of independent Black media like ours. Would you just say that really briefly, my dear sister? Because I want to say that in connection with how we're getting this out, the truth and this different narrative, and why Sister Jessica, the former press secretary, Kareem Jean-Pierre, had me blocked on a couple of personal platforms, and why I heard from CNN, and why I heard somebody directly from MSNBC that was upset about what little old Vicki with a laptop and a cell phone is putting out into the world, and why that so concerned them. Talk to us just briefly about that, and then we're going to move on to the next point, beloved.
Perfect. I mean, it's hot. It's hot. When you see CBS and NBC and all them, and they have such a surface level of what it is that they're going to present. And when you look at the fact that most of them are Democratic owned, so they're presenting a certain picture. But when I start looking at Black media, Vicki, Tariq Nasheed and them, and I start seeing how deep that they were going, that all the things that was getting shown to us on the face. No, y'all went deeper. Even with that Bill Cosby trial, when you all start showing who these white women were, the caliber of these white women that had Bill Cosby trapped up like this, where the mainstream media had you thinking that these were some really, really affluent, beautiful flowers. Like, wait, no, it was you and the other Black media that said, look at these women, look at the caliber of these women. That was hot. And it's been like that, one topic after another, that you all take this one sliver of information and you go deeper and deeper and deeper and bring that information to the people so that we can see both sides. You all are doing your part. It's up to us now to open up our minds. Come on, the Bible says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Grab hold to what the truth is that y'all putting out here, because y'all putting in the work.
Wow.
Only thing people have to do is be willing to receive it. It's like scripture say to the man laying by the pool for 38 years. What he say? Are you willing to be healed? Are you willing to be healed? Then pick up your mat and walk. That's what's before Black people right now. Are we willing to be healed? Are we willing to be healed? Then pick up our mat and walk.
This is powerful.
All this nonsense. Stop. We know better.
Wow. Wow. Shout out to our family that's giving those gifts. We've got folks that's giving cash apps. We got folks that's just singing your praises. The one that says, where is the love? She's giving a $20 cash app. We got a $50 cash app from Famously Blacker. That's from Hollywood.
Okay. Amen. Let's go.
Sister Jessica, I always say this because I want us to know that we got people on the ground like yourself, and we've got some other folks that's helping us. So we need all kinds of soldiers. If people ain't standing in the way, and they're different kind of soldiers, right? When you go to war, you have to have nurses that enlist, don't you? You got to have cooks that enlist, and you got to have the front line. So we got to respect everybody in their role. As long as you ain't in the way trying to push no agenda and stop us, prevent, frustrate, and for what we doing, or you become an enemy to us. Talk black to me, somebody. So we appreciate all of those that are supporting. I just want you to know they on here supporting you right now. I'm just throwing that out there so you will hear that as well. But my
praise God.
Yes, I wanted you to bring that up, what you said a few minutes ago, and I connected it with my interviews that I did with Brother Abdul Muhammad and some other stuff. Y'all better not miss. Y'all better not miss. Y'all saw I popped up on you for Chicago before. What if I do it in a minute? Don't play. Y'all know I don't do nothing for nothing around this piece. And with my health and other behind the scenes stuff I got going on, don't play with me. Y'all better stay tapped in and tuned in to what I'm doing here so that you don't miss what we're doing. I wanted them to see you too, sister, because I want them to know that when people love to say, well, what we gonna do about it? What we gonna do this, that, and the third, and what we gonna do this. There are people just like our sister Jessica that are out there doing the work on the front lines, but you all have your job. Those that give the narrative, those that support, those that back what's happening. They're different kinds of soldiers, so you get in where you fit in, dear family. Now, one of the reasons I wanted you to bring up what you just brought up just a second ago, did y'all see how she beautifully connected the different interests? Folks don't understand the immigration issue is a geopolitical international issue. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about, I got a webinar coming up. It's pinned below. It's pinned above. I'm not even spending a lot of time talking about that right now. Family, it's pinned above. It's a free webinar coming up in a few weeks. I'm going to be talking about some of those very unseen forces, beloved, that we hear about the news that think ain't got nothing to do with us. It's directly connected to what's happening on the local level in Chicago, Illinois. And you better believe our sister that you watching on this screen needs to be supported, because you all understand that there are forces that don't like what she's doing. In fact, would you tell us a little bit about what you told me right before we came on when you said that you would hear me talking about different forces coming against me, and you said that you understood? Say what you were saying about that.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's very important. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, as we start moving in this direction, and when I say we, I'm talking about, first of all, Zoe Lee, who's been down there fighting for her mother's property. It's an issue of eminent domain. She's been down there for as long as I've been down there. She used to be out there fighting, standing in front of City Hall with signs made that she made about her mother's property that they illegally did by eminent domain. Okay, and so actually, she was the first one that said, you know what, y'all don't settle my mother's case, we're gonna flip Chicago red. Okay, and then I in turn with her was in agreement. Yeah, let's flip this red. Let's flip this red. Okay, then about in October, that's when she got these shirts made up. Before then, we wasn't wearing shirts, so we was just out there. She got these shirts made up, and she invited like she did like a town hall and invited people to come. And then that's when Danielle Carter came. We call her Danny C. You probably seen her in the news, in YouTube. So that's Danny. Okay, and then Dave Mason came, and then there are other people, Molly and her daughter, and Fadu. I think he got a French name, but they work more closely with Zoe and that part, like that social media stuff. But anyway, then you had like Carter Trust, and Tyrone Muhammad, and Gloria and Erica, who made that contract for Black Chicago. Like I said, Mark Carter, who did that immigration thing. There are a lot of people out here that have been fighting for Black Chicago. I want you to be crystal clear about that.
Yes, sis.
It's a lot of us that's been out here. And Latasha Dunn, and see, I want to give a shout out to Carter Trust. Carter Trust is from the West Side.
Okay.
Like we over here from the South Side. But those of you who don't know, that South Side, West Side beef between Black Chicago is deep. It's deep. It's deep. I've never known it not to be. And I'm 62 years old. All your life, South Side didn't fool with the West Side. West Side ain't fool with the South Side. It's always been that way. We don't fool with each other.
Wow.
It's a known fact.
Okay.
Well, Brandon Johnson got in office, and the first person, and after that Wentworth thing with Lori Lightfoot, the next school that they attacked was South Shore High School. And that's over here by where I live. My sisters went to that high school, right? So Natasha Dunn and them who live over there in that part of South Shore, that's the ones that you saw come out and did like that bigger press conference was saying that they didn't want them in that school. If you recall, at the same time, a little while after then, they started attacking that Munson Park field house over on the west side. Come on. And that's when Carter and Linda and them on the west side start cutting up like, you ain't bringing them over here. Next thing you know, Carter hooked up with Linda. Come on. I mean, with Natasha Dunn. Come on. And you remember, Carter once said from that press conference, she said that she was suffering from voter remorse because she had supported Brandon Johnson because all of them was from the West Side. And that only for Brandon Johnson to get in office and do this to the West Side. And then remember she said, but Brandon Johnson, you've done something that nothing had nobody's been able to do ever in the history of Chicago. You done brought the South Side and the West Side together. Come on. I was like, go on, girl. Then I told Zoe.
This deep.
I said, Zoe, we need to do a press conference. It might have been right. It was right at that time. It was right along that same time. And they started airing about how the money was being messed up. And I told Zoe, I said, that's white folks right there. White folks talking about that money. Now it's time to get on that money thing. It's time to get on that money thing. And that's when George Blakemore, that older man that you see on clips in them colorful clothes, right, he be down there all the time. And Doris Lewis, the one who did the contract for Black Chicago,
I met her.
You met her, right? Her and Erica Dunn. They're the ones who authored that.
Dunn and Sister Doris. Now, I need you to tell people one more time. They're the ones that wrote contract for Black America, right?
For Black Chicago.
Black Chicago. That can be turned into a bill. Do you all understand that?
Right.
So we're supposed to be out there talking. I had the privilege. She's a former educator too, I believe.
Yes, she's a teacher. She used to be a teacher, correct.
So I need y'all to understand, this is who I fool with, and this who fool with me. But when you're out there talking, you're talking to Black women and men and even some of the others that are on the line writing bills that other folks can copy. Didn't we talk about that during the meeting? They could take that very contract and other cities could just use that as a template before their local Congress folks?
Yes. Based on the Black population of their city, that should be represented in the different areas of employment.
And
correct.
She broke down the percentage
Yeah.
That's
Her and Erica Dunn. Yes. And I told them, I said, give me that. I'm going to present that to City Hall. That's why when you look down there, you see that they wrote it, but I presented. Right.
But sis,
right. Because there was a lot of us that was working.
But the people, I don't want nobody nowhere to ask me, Vicki, well, what's the solution? Who out there doing it? Did somebody demand that you be a part of a group, my sister? Did somebody compel you and force you to get involved in this? You did this organically. You start getting in where you fit in, and look at the explosive growth and the people that you've inspired.
And people who inspired me. See, and people who inspired me. Yes. You understand? Yes, when I saw them talking about that money, I told Zoe, I said, I remember when Lori Lightfoot, when I first got here, remember I said I came in 2019 to see about my mother's estate. And at that time, of course, over the years, I had started noticing the decay of the South Side, 71st Street, 75th Street, 63rd Street, 79th Street. Over the years, you start seeing decay of it, especially after the crack epidemic, really.
Right. Got it.
Really. That's what started this decay.
Got it.
Yes, absolutely. Because the 70s, the 60s and the 70s on the South Side, it was like, what? We had everything over here. What? We had stores, we had Black-owned restaurants, Black-owned gas stations, Black-owned banks, Black-owned communities. We had everything over here. You literally never had to go downtown unless you was going to get Garrett's popcorn or wanted to go to Marshall Field. Over here on the South Side. Do you understand? No, we was not breaking our neck to be there. No, because we had everything we thought we wanted over here on the South Side. And then after the crack epidemic, you saw the decay of our neighborhoods, and the Democratic Party, who's always been in office, has never put that money back into our communities. They literally let our communities decay like this, and I think that when they came up with this thing of immigration, that their mindset really was looking at us as a people, the Black men, the Black ones, the white ones, the Hispanic ones, the couple of Asians, look at us and say, they ain't gonna do nothing. Look at them. Look at them. They ain't gonna do nothing. Look at them. And so they felt like they could pour these immigrants in our neighborhoods. But like I said, starting with Wentworth area, then to Natasha Dunn, the Carter and them, and then, like I said, simultaneously, this is important, simultaneously, me and Zoe over here on the South Side fighting for our property. We didn't know each other. George Blakemore, that older guy with the colored clothes, he the one who told me, there's a girl down there named Zoe. She out there protesting for her mother's stuff. You need to find her. So that's what made me find Zoe.
Wow.
Okay, and then after a while, I'm like, come from out here with these signs. Come up here and public speak. Come up here and get to that mic. Okay, so from that, it was another town hall in Hyde Park over here. And Hyde Park has always been like one of the better middle class Black neighborhoods in Chicago. And Desmond Yancey, who's a failed alderman, who came in under quote unquote being Black, and then after he got in, now all of a sudden he turned Haitian.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness! Oh look! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness, he did it. You know how Donald Trump say Kamala Harris was Indian, and all of a sudden she turned Black? Right.
Real facts.
Right, facts. Same thing with Desmond Yancey. He got in on the Black car, running as Black, got up in there, and all of a sudden he discovered in the last couple of months he Haitian. And instead of being did ordinances for that and all of that. So he came to put the immigrants in Hyde Park. Hyde Park. Now let me explain Hyde Park. Hyde Park is a part of the city that, let's say us over here in South Shore on the South Side, when we wanted to do nice Black, When we wanted to go to nice black restaurants. When we wanted to go and be able to walk around in a nice black neighborhood, you know. That's what Hyde Park was over here on the south side. So they came up with the bright idea that they're going to pour some illegal immigrants over there. So it was a town hall meeting. Doris Lewis, the one who made that contract with Erica, got up. It was a clip that went viral when she said, "We don't want them here, send them back," and that went viral. It was George. Well, I told George, the older guy with the colorful clothes, did he know her? He said, yeah, he knew her because Tyrone Muhammad knew her.
Wow.
So I said, can you get her number? I said, because I think we need to do a press conference. Me and Zoe need to do a press conference. Maybe she can help us do a press release. Yes. So George connected me to Doris. That's how I met Doris. So me and Doris work on the press release because, like I said, Lori Lightfoot, when I got here in 2019, she was talking about this Southwest Invest money. And that money was supposed to be monies that was supposed to fix the south side and the west side and all the different communities. Okay. Then all of a sudden COVID came. That conversation went away. When COVID was over, now all of a sudden it wasn't no more talk about Southwest Invest money. Now all of a sudden it was all about housing illegal immigrants.
Wow.
I'm like, what the heck is, where's our money?
Where's our
So
money?
we do the press conference, and in the press conference, just like Carter has said about the South and West side come together, I said, well, I told Doris, because in the press conference, I talked about how this was money for the South side and the West side. And that the South side and the West side needed our money. We wanted economic development. So after that, I tell Doris, well, Doris, since I'm talking about the West Side, I guess we better go meet some of them West Side people. So me and Doris get in the car and we ride to a Munson Park over there where Carter and them was. And that's how I met Carter. And Linda Johnson, I think that's her last name. And that's when I met Mark.
I'm getting chills listening to just how you're talking about how this was formed.
Yes. It was a collective effort. Now, what made people start singing me and Zoe is because we were down at City Hall all the time because we were fighting for our properties.
Now, let me tell you something. What made me a target years ago has to do with real estate. It had to do with illegal a seizure of one's home. And a lot of folks don't know that before the official 2007-2008 recession, I was already fighting the powers that shouldn't be, but it was on multiple levels. Even people that I was close to that had something to do with it, but they were being manipulated.
Yes.
Corporate groups, because I was going off on them, but then found out it wasn't just them, it was somebody that was connected to them, and it was somebody else higher up. It was. And then I end up
it's an attack.
It's an attack. And then I found out that Wall Street entities was involved. The local government's trust was involved. Some of the local courts was involved. So when you lose everything and you don't have the resources that you had, and then even some attorneys that don't want to represent you because they tell you that if they go after this entity or this person, it could put their other cases and career in jeopardy.
Yes.
To go represent myself. So I said to him,
yes.
I said, you telling me that if I can't buy justice, I can't get justice? You telling me that you won't get it? I said, oh no. So when I started representing myself with little to no education, I started getting local attention from media. I started upsetting some power centers. And even when you didn't quote unquote win, I was causing so much drama in court. I was costing them a lot of money just with the process of what I was doing and attention on these different entities. So I became a target. So when I realized that some of they was forging documents, they was doing stuff with the documents, and they want Black women and Black people. Then I found out in one of the neighborhoods that I had one of the properties in, one of the neighbors had a connection with the treasurer, somebody at one of the county places, and they turned around and made a phone call to one of their friends to try to stop these devils and our people.
These devils.
Understand how it's all twisted up, sis.
How's all twisted up, Vicki? How's all twisted up? And then as we start, formulating as an organization, I would tell Zoe and Danny and them, I say, look, as much glory it is with the civil rights movements and it's glory with that, we tend to lose sight of the fact that all those organizations end up getting infiltrated.
You said, slow down. What you said one more time.
I had to explain to Zoe and them. Once we became a quote unquote actual organization, I would tell them over and over again, y'all slow down. Be careful, because as much as we glorify the civil rights movement from the 60s, please be mindful, y'all, that every last one of those organizations end up getting infiltrated.
Come on now.
And soon enough, that's what started happening. As soon as the South Side and West Side start coming together. You saw it. You saw it. You saw it. We were talking to each other like, you know, everybody wanted Black people to be okay. Next thing you know, here came the imps of Brandon Johnson. Come on. You know what?
Listen.
The imps of Brandon Johnson. You know how you talk about? He from the West Side. He from the West Side. He started using people that he knew, he grew up with, that was supposed to be organizations and all that. And they start coming after us, start saying mean things, picking fights with us, all this, because trying to take the eye off of what we were doing. But God is good. God is good. And I remember, I'm like, this that jump Vicki was talking about. This what I saw when people was coming after her. But Vicki kept going. She would be sick sometime on her thing, but she would keep going. She keep going. You talked about the mortgage, how they was stealing property. I'm like, yeah, there it is. Come on, keep going. Because that's the issue. That's the issue. We got to keep going. Look, Vicki, you just hit on something that's heavy.
Powerful.
You talked about how the courts are corrupt. I told you about how the courts here are corrupt. Come on, Black people. Come on, y'all.
I'm on the record as having sued judges, my sister.
Come on, yes.
Generals on the other side of me.
Yes.
And my people don't know a lot of this about the work that I was doing before I got my unjust criminal trial. But I have sloppily redacted documents. And to this day, I still don't have all of the 50,000 pages worth of discovery that they did turn over. And in those emails, not chit chat for the haters, do your jobs. For the haters, the legal document, baby. You will see that in those documentations, before there was anything, the investigators that was pressing the feds, Wall Street entities and banks, pressing them to please come after tracking other counties where I was fighting in court and was winning on a local level. And they was like, get her. These are emails. This is not chit chat.
It's not chit chat. It's a corrupt judicial system. And listen, Black people, we sit up all the time talking about how the courts is crooked. The courts is crooked. Come on, let's talk about two things. Number one, nobody's denying that. You crazy to deny. But it's not just criminal court, it's in civil courts too. And civil courts is where they do the economic harm. They want you to keep on looking at the criminal court when the reality is less than a third of us is actually going to be in criminal court. No, we all end up some type of way in the civil proceeding. And civil proceedings is how they're getting us economically. Civil proceedings is how they're taking our property. Civil proceedings is how they can make you pay money that you don't owe. Civil proceedings is how they can keep you from getting damages that are due to you. Them civil proceedings, come on. Them civil proceedings. That's how come when they be talking about judicial court system, you always hear either they're going to say the criminal court or they're going to say the courts. They never say civil court, because civil court is economic damage. Girl, you better listen. Come on, Black people, get your mind right. Listen while you listening to these old crooked Democrats. Look, for the first time in history, we have a United States of America president. The president of the United States, who is the most powerful man in the world. Whether you agree with him or not, whether you're on this side or it don't change the fact that he holds that position. And it is the first time in history, Black people, that we have a president that can attest to the corruption of these courts.
Come on.
Because of the way they came at him, we need to take this as an opportunity to get judicial reform. He already did the thing, the First Step Act. That means that his mind is there. Now, come on, push, Black people. Make them look at this corrupt judicial system.
What you're saying, I got to put my 2 cents on this one, because that's what I've been saying for the longest. When I was out there and my so-called spiritual brothers and sisters, they couldn't hang with me, sis, when I became a target. They started strange. They couldn't hang with me. So when Vicki goes super spiritual on them, because that's what you were telling me before the show, you said that's what make you high, because you said then you turn around and put the spiritual. I had to with the spirit realm, because these spiritual realm. Baby. They left me alone. You understand? They left me alone. I had to rock with the unseen in order to withstand the extraordinary pressure that I was under to submit by even local activists that was supposed to have my back, that just wanted me. But you know what they want? Just go ahead and do a plea. You know what they want? Just go ahead and do this. You know what they want? And having to withstand all of that. Now, this is very interesting. I told somebody before, I don't care about Donald Trump's devilish antics. I call him out just like I called out the Democrats, the Kamala Harris's, the Joe Bidens, and the rest of them. But watch this. The stuff he's talking about is stuff that I was talking about a long time ago, and others about the corruption of the courts. But now that he's talking about the courts, y'all want to act like that the courts is some upstanding entity, and how dare Trump go after the courts when they're the very ones that's been
Because they're the very ones. Because look at this, Vicki Dillard, and I always make this point. It doesn't matter what policy is in place. It doesn't matter even what law is in place. If you get to court and the judges are corrupt, it ends it. My mother did everything right. The Constitution is there. The law is there.
People will say, people that don't know your case will say, well, did her mama have a will? You know, Black folks love to do shows on whether or not Black folks is getting wills. You started the show before you even told the testimony good. You said, first of all, you said my mama had a what?
She had a full, authentic will.
Thank you.
Notarized, signed, not found down in the side of a couch and all that. No, my mother took care of her business, and I resent anybody who tries to say otherwise.
Say it now.
I dare you try to slander my mother.
Come on.
My mother had her business in place. She did everything right. Our parents, their generation, their claim to fame was to buy property, pay it off, and pass it to their children. So that their kids didn't have a dime in the bank, they had somewhere to lay their head.
Come on.
I dare you take the lies of a corrupt entity over the sanctity of my mother.
Come on now. Come on.
You can get back with that.
Thank you. And then this is what folks don't understand. The finesse, the tricks, and the technicalities that the courts use to prevent you from ever getting to the facts or the merits of the case. They use tricks and tricks to prevent you from even infiltrating. And even the judge in one of my situations where he signed a document claiming he did it based on half of the charges on my behalf, and it was read before a jury as if I agreed for that. And I'm looking at him on the side. I'm looking at him on the side, letting his funny looking self know, Ninja, you went behind my back and you signed. I got chills talking about it right now. I said, you signed. I'm looking at her. And when I told the judge, when I brought it up to the judge or whatever, after the case was over, one of my cases was over, letting him know, I'm going to tell the judge, you better file that document to let them know that I was never authorized, because that was read before the jury saying that I had agreed and admitted to it related to half of the charges, which is known as a stipulation. That was what he signed, was tantamount to a plea agreement on those particular charges that he signed behind my back with the prosecutors. And when that was brought before the court, because after the unjust trial was over and the guilty plea was in, we had to have a hearing after the fact. I waived my attorney right privilege because I wanted it all out there. The court cleared. She did a technical thing to where she didn't even address my briefing at all. She simply gave another attorney, fired him, got him off the case, and put another she appointed that was technically in private office herself that would never get to the issue. I had too many other situations like that. I went down in my civil work. Before y'all knew, you 2008, 2000, but what they say about her, what the fans say, what they say they got on your funny looking self. Before that took place, I was down there doing a lot of the work and my name was buzzing around. They was telling me, they knew who I was and what was going on. Your name will quickly start to spread when you start to elevate, when you start to expose certain things, and you will realize, baby, this wasn't even just local. This wasn't even just the people that you trusted, that you went off on, that you first blamed. When you realize this had to do with Wall Street out of New York, when you realize that it had to do with trustee corruption, I'm gonna be honest with you. One of the things I found that was contrary in some of the documents, I didn't even realize. I just started doing the work and started doing research and started paying money to get information that some of the people inside the trust department started to hand me paperwork. Look, sis. And they would say, look at the bottom of that. That says a serial number on that. That signature don't go with that. That don't go with this. They told me to go down in the attic where they kept some of the documents, look for X, Y. You understand? This how that kind of stuff goes down. And they were trying to stop the economic interest, and I didn't even know what I was on to. Do you understand? I didn't even know what
you don't even know what you own to. You don't even know what you own to. I had no idea that this would land me on Capitol Hill sitting in that room. I had no idea that this would land me there. And you just going the way God is moving you to go. You don't have no choice. You in it. It's sink or swim. You got to do what you got to do. And you start seeing, like what you say, how God started lining up people to help you. How you start seeing.
Y'all hear my sister? I got to say this. You see the brother's name that I got on the screen? I lie not. I lie not. Cool Keezy. He's out of Colorado. I didn't know this about this a long time later. He said Vicki Dillard's name was ringing heavily. Cool Keezy, would you write in the chat what you told me, not me? I didn't know you from a can of paint, bro. We don't live in the same city. I think he told me some brothers that was locked up in prison said something about Vicki Dillard's name. Y'all don't understand. I'm gonna let him say it. This is live. When my sister just said what he said, I almost forgot this. Years later, we ain't in the same city. This brother wasn't rocking with me directly, didn't know me from a can of paint back in the day when Vicki was, what did you say? He said Vicki Dillard's name was ringing heavily then. Would you tell him in the chat, bro? What you mean? Cool Keezy, he's a rapper. He's a businessman, a brother. I learned of him later online, not from the state of Colorado, not from Littleton, not from Denver, not from the Aurora region. Y'all been hearing a lot about Aurora, haven't you? And the immigration stuff in Aurora, right? That's within this region of the area. I once lived over in that area too, the Metroplex. That's why I just keep it as a Metroplex. But I'm trying to get folks to understand, my name was ringing in the courts amongst judges in Wall Street. I went and complained at a meeting. One of my family members told me to get down there. They're going to be talking about some properties of foreclosure. They didn't even know all the details. Watch this. What you say, bro? What you say? He said she was in the news here in Denver. We saw it. I was definitely in jail. Bro, they ain't ready for it. They're not ready for it, bro. They ain't ready for it. I don't even know what he told me. What did you say that the prisoners were saying to you, bro? What did you say that the brothers you was locked up with years later? He found me online the way you said, who is this Vicki Dillard doing the news online?
Yeah.
That's how he found me. I didn't meet this brother. I didn't bump into him in the state of Colorado and all of the different cities that's here. I'm just trying to let you all know that when you do the right thing long enough, and even when it looked like you lose and you win it. Come on, girl. Do you know that some of the very law firms that came against me ended up closing, or they came under investigation, or they ended up being found for fraud, or they had to pay millions of dollars in money and so forth? Do you all understand that even when it looked like I was losing, while I was in the belly of the beast, they was fighting, my enemies was falling in different types of ways, entities and so forth. Let me tell y'all something. This is the reason why I rejoice in some of the stuff that's happening with Donald Trump with his messy ass, but he's the demolition. It's who the ancestors will use. This is what they don't understand, sis.
This is what they don't understand. This is what they don't understand. God works through people, and to believe that God works through people, you got to believe then that Satan does too.
Come on.
It's just real.
It's just real.
Now, what we do, it's just real. Now, what we do know is God even created Satan.
Come on. They ain't ready for that. Remind them.
Come on. God even created Satan.
Could you remind them?
Can you remind them? God created it. There's nothing greater than him.
For the Sunday school people out here, this your Sunday school lesson, in case you forgot.
There's nothing greater than him.
Come on now. Come on. And this is what I want.
Yes, the temptations of the devil to get you off guard, to get you up. But just as like Noel Jones, I heard him say it in one sermon. He said, just as much as the devil is meant to tempt you, that's how much God is determined to bless you. Wow, come on.
Wow.
Come on. You don't hear me? And see, and you keep your mind there. See, I'm going to go back to what you said about Donald Trump and real quick about the Republican Party. Can we talk? I ain't caping for neither one of them. But the reality is we in America. This is our country.
Come on now.
Do we believe that this is what we built?
Wow.
Do we believe that this is where our ancestors got enslaved at? Do we believe that they the ones whose soul is in it? Because if you believe that, then you understand that this is our country. This is ours. And you got the right to demand anything you want from the government.
Wait. We're getting close to the end now, sis. I need you to say that last part one more time. I want you to close us out because y'all know I got to get ready to go live on African Diaspora News. I got to go live on another network here in a few minutes. Because like I said, look, I stole her. I had to use her for my channel first, y'all. We're going to take it. I'm going to do a follow-up, I promise you, on African Diaspora, but I had to use on my channel first today. But would you end us now, because I got to switch over here in just a few minutes. Would you end the time for us, family? Don't forget to get your free seat for my upcoming webinar in case you want to know about it. Guess what I'm going to be talking about? I'm going to be talking about how your U.S. government, we have testimony. This ain't no run my mouth of using Covens on their military bases. Did y'all hear what I said? I'm going to talk about that, AI and intelligence, and the upcoming thing. And some of y'all want to know what's going on with Trump and Elon Musk and people saying he's the president. Y'all ain't heard about this ancient prophecy from Babylon that Trump know about. And y'all ain't heard it like this nowhere. Y'all know I bring it whenever I do these spiritual webinars. Don't miss it. The link is above. I want you to end it for us, dear sister. Would you so much? And I promise y'all, we up to something. I ain't saying yet. Just like we met last year, and I went to a town hall, Black Town Hall last year in Chicago. I'm gonna make an announcement in the upcoming days. Y'all know I don't play about that. I'm getting ready to go to Ohio here, sister, in a couple of months. Me and some of the folks from African Diaspora are invited to an event there, so I'm gonna be looking forward to meeting y'all. That's official. I finished signed the contract for that. So we got some stuff that we're working on. But Sister Jessica Jackson, you ain't number fire emojis in the chat, ain't number unbelievable comments. People say they got chills, all kind of stuff. Would you please time for us? Because you know we're doing a follow-up. But sister, would you please end it for us?
Well, I just want to end it with, come on, Black people, keep an open mind. Pay attention to what's going on politically. We cannot withdraw ourselves from the political conversation in America. We just can't. We are Americans. And if we believe all the things that we say about being Black here, we need to act on it. I just want to say this real fast. We don't owe the Democratic Party anything more than we owe the Republicans. But I do want to say this. The Republicans are the ones who signed that Emancipation Proclamation that got us out of slavery. Now, we can say Abraham Lincoln didn't really want to do it. He only did it because it doesn't matter. What matters is he signed it. Okay? Then we're going to fast forward. It's the Republican Party that put that 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment in the Constitution to protect our citizenship. That's a fact. That's a fact. Then we're going to fast forward to today. It's the Republican Party. That's why I keep telling y'all to pay attention to the hearings on Capitol Hill. Because right now it's the Republican Party that's standing on the 14th Amendment saying that this birthright stuff, you cannot compare it to what the 14th Amendment is for. The 14th Amendment is for the freedmen. It's for those that were coming out of slavery. It's the Republican Party that's fighting for that right now. It's the Republican Party. And then to bring us back to what the original conversation was about, Vicki, it's the Republican Party that called Brandon Johnson and those other three mayors to Congress to question them and get at them for destroying this country with illegal immigration. It is the Republican Party that's doing it. You can say whatever you want, but the reality is, Vicki, we don't have nowhere else to go. This is our country. This is where we live. No, we can't go over there. We can't go over here. It ain't nowhere, no table at the United Nations that's a black seat.
Come on.
It's an African, Liberian, Nigerian MC. It ain't a black seat. The United States government on Pennsylvania Avenue. That's who I beat this with. That's who we deal with.
That's who we deal with.
Damn. Now, nobody's saying we can't be independent partner, but the reality is this, Vicki, we are in trouble right now.
Right now.
We don't have time to build an independent party that's going to be strong enough to take down the Democrats or the Republicans. Not now.
Come on,
not now.
Come on.
Right now, we need to get on one accord with that which is near and dear to us. And what's near and dear to us? Our public safety.
Yes.
What's near and dear to us? That our jobs be available to us and not being given to illegal immigrants.
Yes.
What's near and dear to us? Our property and real estate being saved and protected. What's near and dear to us? That judicial system getting corrected. What's near and dear to us? Our schools being corrected and proper resources. And the Republican Party, by them keeping these illegals out of here, it's the party that can do it.
Come on.
We can be mad about it all day long, and yes, our anger is justified, but we don't have the power to get these illegals out of here.
Come on, come on, come on.
The only thing we can do is what we did. Let our petitions be known before the government. And what did the border czar Tom Homan say in his speech? He said he came to Chicago and he met with the community. And then he backtracked and said, what? I met with the black community there. He was talking about me and Zoe and Daddy and Dave.
You know, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I see you in person. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see you in person. We just gonna go.
I don't know either. Look, I don't either. And he talking about, look, you had 20 seconds to say to him what you wanted to say. So he said, what's your name? I said, Jessica Jackson. He said, what can I do for you, Miss Jackson? I said, get them illegals out the black communities here in Chicago. He said, I got that for you. I said, well, then come on, let's take this Photoshop photos off. Yeah. So come on.
Our sister, did y'all hear what she said to us? Somebody just said this chapter lost their minds. They just all kind of I'm hot. I'm sweating. Watch this. As we steal this time, because I gotta switch over to the next.
You gotta go.
Y'all, I was just in Chicago during the Democratic National Convention week. I'm planning something. I'm snitching already. I'm snitching. I'm just having to give you the details, so don't play with us. So you better stay tuned in. Go to my website and join the email list so that way I can directly notify you when I get ready to touch down for the next Black Town Hall. That's all I can say. Go to VickiPlanet.com. The link is above, the same link where you sign up for the free webinar coming up in a few weeks. That's the same website you go to. Scroll to the bottom of the website, put your email there. And so when I tell you, hey, I'm headed back and I'm gonna be there with my sister, you'll and some old sisters there and brothers, you'll know when it is. So I already told you I'm getting ready to go to Ohio. It's official in a couple of months. And then I'm working on one other city because I'm not playing with these funny looking people. We're not playing with y'all. I'm gonna add to whatever the ground is doing, whatever my sister and them doing. I'm trying to get with that. And one of the things that we know, Sister Jessica, when when mainstream media was calling us Russian bots, when we were saying the just things that we were saying about illegal immigration and how it's negatively affecting Black folks, and they weren't bringing on voices like yours, but they want us to cry when they get fired from jobs. The Joy Reeds want us to get upset because she don't have a voice, but they weren't the ones bringing you on. They were the ones that was trying to shut us down from their agenda that they had when we were talking about legitimate issues that the Black community was having. They weren't the ones that was rocking with us. I want to rock with y'all. So the proof of our power ain't none of that. It's about who lost the White House, who lost and who lost the House of Representatives.
The Democrats.
They'll tell you whether or not the bots are real or not. They'll tell you whether or not the power is real or not. That'll tell you whether or not it's real. And some of y'all can get mad if you want, but like our sister said, it's the Republicans that's holding these meetings because when we was telling the Democrats what all this stuff was going on, they weren't giving voice. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They were ignoring and suppressing it and shutting us down and retaliating and looking for ways to punish us. They're in Chicago. Y'all were giving them that work for so long. You told them that you were going to disrupt the DNC. What did they do? For a short time, they talked about digitalizing the DNC.
Yes. Because you remember, because you remember when Mark Carter did that press conference, and he said, if y'all think y'all gonna come here and run that DNC and ain't nothing gonna happen, remember he looked right in the camera and said, stay tuned.
They were scared to death of you all. And I'm trying to let you all know, family, that's proof of an agenda, because the Democrats are not even listening to us.
At all.
Make our voices heard. And what did my sister say before she ended? She said, we don't owe the Democrats or anything more than we owe the Republicans. This is about being Black first, family, not Democrat first. And they're the ones that are deserving of more criticism, because we're the ones that have been giving them 50, 60 years worth of our votes, which means that you have given them the power to change your condition, and they are refusing to change your condition. They're giving money and resources to everybody but us. I want to thank you so much, my dear sister. We're getting ready to do some follow-ups on this in the next upcoming week or so. Just expect some follow-up pre-records on another network, African Diaspora News Channel. I plan on doing from this very broadcast. I said, look, I said, I'm getting that interview. We'll get the other one later now. And stop. And then, and plus, like I said, I got some plans. Y'all know I did the first one in Chicago, the first town hall I did with the brother there with the P1 movie. I plan on doing this next one, the Vicki Dillard town hall, baby. So don't play with us, family. Do not play with us. So I'm so honored. I bow to you, Sister Jessica. I bow to you and the entire team of those that you named and those that you didn't name that's doing the work on the ground. Look, you make us proud. We thank you for our silent warriors. Our sisters down there at those hearings. How many? You said 2 and 3 a week.
Yeah. We're down there 2-3 times a week. We was down there yesterday. Me and Danny was down there yesterday. Being attacked by the West Side imps. We was down there yesterday.
And so we stand with you. We got your back. And look, we just getting started. You've inspired so many of us. And for that, we say thank you so very much, family. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's broadcast. I've got another one coming up tomorrow. Family, I'm going to be interviewing again with my dear brother. He's actually a UK journalist, Richard Sudan. Our brother has been to the Palestine area, but guess what? In the UK, guess what he's known for? Pushing reparations for foundational Black Americans. And I rocks with him because he rocks with us. All the time, he's out there pushing for the fact of reparations for foundational Black Americans. So I rock with him as well. So he's going to be with us tomorrow. And y'all don't miss tomorrow's live interview right here, VickiDillard.tv. It's going to be, I think it's 12:30 Eastern tomorrow. And so we're going to be talking about why the Israelis got high skin cancer. I ain't gonna y'all know where we going with that tomorrow. Y'all know how these platforms are. So we're going to talk about that element of the real reason why. And we're going to be talking about the race war that's happening in the United States and in the UK. Y'all don't want to miss it, okay? So, family, get your free seats for the upcoming webinar that's happening in a few weeks. The link is above. Go to my website at VickiPlant.com. Share this broadcast. Get on my email list. I don't want to hear nothing because they be mad when we do events live. Talking about, well, I didn't know you was going to be in Chicago again. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing, okay? I love y'all so much. Any last words, my dear sisters, before we click off? And I'm going to switch on over to African Diaspora in a few minutes.
I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for having me on your show. And I want to thank you for the support. I want to thank you for the support of the chat. Keep me in your prayers. Keep Chicago in your prayers. Your encouragement means a lot. Encouragement means a lot. It means a lot. And I do agree with you. Different people have different places in it. So I encourage everybody to find your place in it and work it. Work it. Don't let up, no matter how it looks in your spot.
Yeah.
And the Lord is with us. God is with us. The only thing that we're required to do is to keep the faith and keep fighting. So I thank you, Vicki. I look forward to seeing you when you come here. I look forward to people in the chat getting more involved. And lastly, remember, y'all, It was the Republican Party that offered us up to 40 acres in the mule.
Facts.
Fact. Not the Democrats. Go to the people who originally offered us up to that and deal with them. Don't be scared of white folks, y'all. Come on. Come on. We know what it is. We know. They're the ones who champion themselves on being morally correct. And that's a biblical concept, the issue of reparations. When Israel came out of Egypt, Pharaoh had to give them something. They had gold and silver, all of that. That's how they was able to build the golden calf in the wilderness. They had something. Yeah. So it was a biblical concept that when they let us out of slavery, they were supposed to give us something. That's what the 40 acres in the mule was about. Stop wasting time with the Democrats. They didn't already showed us since HR 40 back in the 80s, they ain't gonna do it.
Come on now. Somebody's asking real quick, how do they get in touch with you, sis? Somebody asking for your information.
What? Give them my email, I guess, in your chat, Vicki.
Okay, fam, look, this is what we're gonna do.
Because you ain't into social media like that. So just drop my email.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Y'all just contact us at contact page at VickiPlanet.com. That's my website. Yeah. Contact page there, okay? And we'll give you her email address. Our sis move a certain way, and look, I have to respect the way a soldier move. I got my protocol, she got hers, baby. She said, this is why I'm effective. Don't get me caught up in stuff. This how I talk, and this gonna be what it is through the email and stuff. Okay, y'all. It's our job to make this go to keep her out there. Yes, we love you so much. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern, and then I'll see the rest of you all on African Diaspora News Channel in just a few minutes. I love you so much. We bow to you. I can't wait to see you again.
See you guys later.